And they're called the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, 10.8, 9, 10, 11. So
Chaturshoki means
the 4 verses, four
Chatushloki.
verses of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah,
10, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's good to memorize these verses also.
Okay.
Mm. Would you like to read?
Yeah, sure. Text 8.
Mm.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah. Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Purport. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya and who knows how to apply these teachings can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Ved, Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1.24, it is said, Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Gapayati Sma Krishna. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again, the Narayan Upanishad says, Atho Purusha Vai Narayano Kamayata Prajaha Srijeti. Then the Supreme Personality Narayan desired to create living entities. The Upanishad continues, Narayanad Brahma Jayate, Narayanad Prajapati Prajayate, Narayanad Indro Jayate, Narayanad Astho Vasavo Jayante, Narayanad Ekadasha Rudra Jayante, Narayanad Dwadashaditya. From Narayana, Brahma is born, and from Narayana, the patriarchs are also born. From Narayana, Indra is born. From Narayana, the 8 Vasus are born. From Narayana, the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayana, the 12 Adityas are born. This Narayana is an expansion of Krishna. It is said in the same Vedas, Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha. The son of Devaki, Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Narayan Upanishad 4. Then it is said, Eko Vai Narayana Ashin Na Brahma Neshano Napo Nagni Somao Name Dyav Apirthvi Na Nakshatrani Na Suryaha. In the beginning of the creation, there was only the Supreme Personality, Narayan. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no moon, no heaven and earth, no stars in the sky, no sun. Maha Upanishad. In the Maha Upanishad, it is also stated that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. Does the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped? In the Moksha Dharma section of the Mahabharata, Krishna also says, Prajapatim cha rudram chapi aham eva srijami vai to hi mam na vijanito mam maya vimohito. The patriarchs, Shiva, and others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusory energy. In the Varaha Puran, it is also said, Narayanaha paro devas tasmaj jatas chaturmukhaha tasmad rudro bhavad such a sarva gyatam gataha. Narayana is the supreme personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. Lord Krishna is the source of all generations, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says, because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything is under me, no one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master with references from Vedic literature engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness, and becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretations on Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness.
So what is Krishna saying in this verse?
Krishna saying everything comes from him, whether in material and spiritual world.
Yeah.
And who understands this is a wise person.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And what does he do then?
Engages in devotional service and worship him.
Yeah. Yeah, he becomes a pure devotee. He engages in devotional service, worships Krishna. One who actually understands that Krishna is the origin of everything, the source. He's saying, I am the source. And Prabhupada is giving so much evidence from different scriptures.
Mm.
So even the different scriptures are saying the same thing, that Krishna is the origin. Yeah, like evidence. Okay, this Upanishad is saying, that Upanishad is saying. And someone may think Lord Brahma or Lord Narayan, I'm sorry, Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva are the origin. But here we are hearing so many evidences that no, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are born of Krishna. They're
Mm.
coming from Krishna. Okay, so we'll go on then.
Yeah. It was written that Lord Shiva was born from Brahma, but actually
Mm.
Lord Shiva is in higher position than Brahma, right?
Yeah, but he has to be born somehow, no? So that's a pastime that he's coming from Lord Brahma.
Okay.
Lord Shiva is an expansion. He is he's not an ordinary living entity. He's not a jiva tattva. He is in a category by himself. But in
Okay.
the material world, this is a pastime in which he appears.
Okay. So this means he already exists, and this is just his pastime.
Lord Shiva,
Before.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he was already there before he was born of Brahma.
Yeah, like that you have to see that even all of us are eternally existing before we are born of our mothers, right?
Okay.
Each of us is eternally existing.
Mhm.
So Lord Shiva
Okay.
is also eternally existing. But this is how
So,
he's appearing in the material world.
okay. So, who is then in actual Lord Shiva?
So
I
Lord Shiva
mean,
is also coming from Lord Krishna. Everyone
mm,
and everything is coming from Lord Krishna. So we are Krishna's separated parts and parcels, right? Jivas. So
mm,
Lord Shiva, he's not an ordinary Jiva. He's also coming from Vishnu. But once he comes, once Krishna is expanded as Shiva, then Shiva cannot become Krishna again. He's a tattva by himself. So how we can understand that yogurt, curd, is also made from milk. We take some milk, we make yogurt out of it. But once the yogurt is made, it can't be turned into milk again.
mm.
So Lord Shiva is in his own tattva. He's in his own tattva, yes. And
Okay.
He's not Vishnu. He's not Vishnu Tattva. Even though he's coming from Lord Vishnu, he's not Vishnu Tattva. He cannot become Lord Vishnu.
Okay, so he's like totally different from everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So the one whom we worship, Lord Shiva, is he the one Rudra that was born out of Brahma, or is he the main Shiva?
He,
You know,
the,
that was
the Rudra
existing.
that is born here in this material world, that's who we
Hmm.
are approaching, right? Because every material world will have their own Lord Shiva, own Lord Brahma.
Oh, okay. So Shiva with Parvati is that Rudra Roop?
Is that Rudra Roop? Well, Rudras,
Like,
they
is
say
it?
there are these 13 Rudras, right? And Lord Shiva is one of them, right?
Hmm, okay, Lord Shiva is one of them.
Hmm.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Is it like given somewhere in Bhagavatam about Lord
Yeah,
Shiva?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Initially, you can read there.
Sure.
Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma is starting the creation, and how the four Kumaras. First, Lord Brahma creates four Kumaras, and they don't want to engage in populating the universe. Then he creates Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva says, "Okay, okay, I'll help you create." But then he's creating all mischievous people, all
Hmm.
kinds of, you know, some who are in fact creating destruction. So Lord Brahma tells him, "No, you're now is the time to create, not destroy. All your ex people are all like destroying it. You go sit, do meditation till your
Hmm.
time comes."
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
Okay. So, so the Lord Shiva, he's coming from Lord Krishna. Lord Shiva sometimes is described as the Lord of the material world, and Lord Krishna is described as Lord of the spiritual world. So why is Lord Shiva described Lord of the material world? Because he's the husband of Durga Devi, right?
Okay.
She's the personification of this material world, material energy.
Mm-hmm.
He's her husband. So he's called the Lord of the material world.
Okay.
And Lord Krishna is described as Lord of the spiritual world. And of course, ultimately, Krishna is the cause of even the material world, and Krishna is doing the creation, maintenance, and annihilation.
Okay.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
9.
Mm.
मच्चित्ता मद्गत प्राण बोधयन्ताः परस्परं कथयन्ताश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Purport. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in the transcendental position, They can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyotir, effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, also that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Golok Vrindavan. The supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of a devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Caitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees, as stated in Bhagavatam itself 12.13.18. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association.
So, previous verse, what does Krishna say? Who becomes a pure devotee?
One who knows that everything emanates from him.
Hmm. And so now he's telling us in this verse, what are the pure devotees doing? What are they doing?
Pure devotees' thoughts and lives are fully devoted to Krishna and his service. They like to converse about him, glorify him.
Yeah,
Mm,
they're always hearing and chanting his glories in
mm.
association with other devotees. So, yeah, Prabhupada is telling us how one can become a pure devotee. What are the stages?
Uh, with hearing and chanting, the seed that is sown in our hearts will, uh, give us the results
Yeah, but how do we get that seed?
by continuing hearing and chanting.
Yeah, but the first point, a good
Mm,
fortune arise when one meets a pure devotee.
yeah.
Then one begins hearing and chanting. Lord Chaitanya says, right? Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jiva.
Mm,
Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. So one who's fortunate gets a mercy by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, he gets the seed of devotional service. And then, yeah, he continues to hear and chant. And then what happens?
then the seed fructifies,
Hmm.
and we give it water just like the plant, water in the form
Hmm.
of hearing and chanting.
Hmm.
And then finally it starts to give fruits and flowers. And
Yeah, and the
then,
seed, mm,
yeah, we
it
gradually come to
grows. It grows, it's growing, it's growing, it's going to the Brahma Jyoti, and beyond the Brahma Jyoti, it's entering Golok Vrindavan.
Mm.
And it's coming to take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So one takes complete shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, then one gets the fruits and flowers. So one continues to engage in hearing and chanting, and gradually surrenders more and more to Krishna. The Bhakti Lata enters. The Krishna Lok takes shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. And then we are getting the fruits and the flowers. The fruit is love of Krishna.
What does this line here exactly means? The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of material universe
Mm.
and enters into the Brahm Jyoti effulgence. So, like, what enters in the Brahm Jyoti effulgence? Is it our soul or is it our mind?
Our devotion is going beyond our surrender, our consciousness,
Okay. So
our
our devotion.
surrender to Krishna. Mm.
So our devotion actually exists. Does it exist in our consciousness?
Yeah, devotional service
Mm.
is the eternal activity of the soul. It's the pure activity of the soul. The soul is actually always engaged in devotional service. But now, because we are thinking the body, that's why we are here in the material world.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
by this, we can also see that the pure devotee is actually always living, although he may be here in the material world, but he's living in Golok Vrindavan. He's always with Krishna because he's taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So, he's always with Krishna.
Mm. Okay. Mm. Okay.
So, he's completely surrendered now. Then he gets love for Krishna. And love for Krishna is like being fish without water.
Mm.
And Krishna brings him to the spiritual world. And one comes to love of Krishna, one cannot stay a moment without Krishna.
Mm.
And Krishna will bring him immediately to the spiritual world. And here Prabhupada is mentioning about Bhagavatam, that Bhagavatam is always relished by the devotees. So in the beginning stage also the devotees relish Bhagavatam, and those who are pure devotees also relish Bhagavatam. Actually, Bhagavatam can truly be relished by those who are liberated. They take
Mm.
great pleasure in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord as described in Bhagavatam.
Okay.
Mm. So we'll continue tomorrow. We'll stop here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.